What is up, skate rats? So they are finally here, the Locker 2s, and they look absolutely amazing. And Donald was nice enough. I did not know at the time that this OD green would be a limited run. So when I asked for it, he was like, absolutely, sure, I'll send the green to you. And it was like 2 days later, I found out it was limited edition. And I kind of felt a little bad and a little honored that he allowed me to just snag one of them. So I'm super stoked on that. We're going to be talking about briefly what the upgrades of this are, because these get released tomorrow, and traditionally my videos go up on a Saturday, but I'm going to do my best to get this video out tomorrow at 9 a.m. East Coast time, which would make it 6 a.m. on the West Coast, a little bit before Grind King is dropping, because they are dropping 12 a.m. Or 12 p.m. I guess technically, East Coast, and 9 a.m. on the West Coast. But let's get into it. So the things that they have upgraded is the base plates. Now you can go to their YouTube channel, it's FTWG, and watch all of this. They explain it in a lot of depth because obviously Donald is the mind behind a lot of this. So the first thing that they did was they beefed up the base plates. I guess some people had issues when they were tightening them down or skating or whatever, that the base plates would crack. Interestingly enough, I never had that happen, and if I showed you some of my base plates, which maybe I will at the end of the video, you will see how much I put them through. The next thing is they upgraded the bushing cup. Now this was my big problem area. As far as I know, I'm the only one still to break 3 hangers. So I'm very, very stoked that it's just a hair below doubled the metal in all directions, meaning that I don't see me having an issue if I'm grinding consistently, getting 3 to 4 months out of them, and that's obviously the hope. The next thing that they upgraded was they shortened the metal sleeve that goes on the inside, and they did that because the bushings were starting to tear just minorly. To be honest, it probably wouldn't have affected anything, but you want your product to look good for longer, so they decided to shorten that a little bit to avoid that from happening again. The last thing that they upgraded that actually was the biggest shock to me is the bushings. So they're offering different styles of bushings, soft, medium, and hard. Medium is what comes stock in the trucks. And as far as I know, they're going to be selling the bushings separate. You have to double check that. But, you know, Donald was nice enough to send me hard ones specifically. So what makes me stoked about these is I am 185 pounds. I skate 56 millimeter wheels, which means that my board needs to have tighter trucks or pretty decently tight trucks for me to feel comfortable on them. And when I immediately jumped on this, because I wanted to feel it right out the box, I had wheel bite within like a foot. So I started to tighten down these trucks. And if you skate tighter trucks, these are definitely gonna be the way to go. Or honestly, if you have your own preference, you can use your own preference, but obviously we're gonna be testing these out. I started cranking down the trucks, and as I got closer and closer and closer, you can kind of see it bulging up there. And then if I flip it around here, you'll see it bulging down there. So the medium bushings definitely don't fit me, but I did cruise on them in this state, and to be honest, they turn an insane amount. And there was a long time ago where I would just kind of like cruise quarter pipes and I'd cruise bowls and that at the local skate park in my college, and having loose trucks was the best at that point. But now that I'm doing more stuff that's tech on the ledge, I want the tighter trucks. Now, really quick, I need to explain something about the skate portion of this. All day, my bruises have been hurting just a little bit more. Now, to be honest, it was specifically in my bruised areas. So nothing went off in my brain that told me like, hey, you know, you're not feeling good or stuff like that. When I got home from work, besides a little bit of soreness that like Tylenol kind of took away, the second I walked into my house, my body temp plummeted. And I had to wrap up in a blanket. My hands went numb for about 45 minutes, and I had to come back outside. Now, that deep breath I just took is because I think I might throw up. I don't exactly know if I'm sick or if my body went into shock when I went through the 2 places, but that's why it's 85 degrees and I'm wearing a thermal. And to be honest, now that I'm outside, bad choice. So we're gonna try to skate these a little bit with the hard bushings, but I have no idea what's gonna happen. Let's find out if I throw up on camera. Now, my first really minor complaint that I don't see this changing is this is what Donald calls the nut portal. And the purpose of this is to stick your finger in there and hold the nut up while you switch your bushings out. My hands are too big. I don't really think the masses will need that hole bigger. Plus, the way it's designed, I don't know how much bigger it can get, but I'll pitch it I just don't see it going anywhere. And it's okay if it doesn't. I can kind of wedge my pinky in there and make it work a little bit. So let's get these bushings. So immediately, just from feel, these are astronomically harder, which I know he said that these were very expensive to make, the hard bushings. So I'm hoping that they work better than Bones. I'm hoping that they work better than, Spitfire's bushings, because if he spent a lot of money on them and a lot of time designing them, you always gotta pray that they feel amazing. Ooh. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I'm sweating. I need to turn my fan on, so I'll see you guys in a few. Okay, it is all set up. We're gonna put these to the side and maybe play with those another day and try to combine and see what different setups we can come up with. But if I'm being honest, tight's kind of the way to go for me. So we had them set up, we had them adjusted enough to skate a little bit, but if I'm being honest, I'm not feeling the best. So we're gonna start with some basics, some rock tricks, axle, maybe 5.0, and then we will see if the challenge I had in mind today, I have any chance of doing. Okay, I have about 2 minutes of coherent thought left tonight. I had a ton of fun on these, but I'm not going to say it was a good idea. So obviously, once I skated them a little bit more, we'll see what kind of damage I put them through, and we'll talk about them again. We'll talk about and see how the bushings held up, because I have to deal with this anytime I use hard bushings in general, but there's always a break-in period, which, duh. But I have to tighten them down consistently, like every 50 to 100 tries, just to keep the tightness that I'm used to. And honestly, in the end, I kind of just let them go loose so I could get into a crook a little bit better. And I just watched it back because the pop out felt pretty cool. But I'm not gonna lie, there was no pinch. Like there was, but I definitely shovel-nosed it, and that bums me out. But we're not here to talk about my sick, awful skating. We're here to talk about the Grand Kings. So first, for anybody out there who says you have to earn your grooves, you still earn your grooves. Like, plain and simple, you still earn your grooves. And not only do you earn them, I've been earning my grooves for 15 years. I've been doing this for a very, very long time. But the trucks feel great, guys. To be honest, as long as these ones don't have any issues with the idea of breaking or cracking for me, even if I had to buy them, I would consistently buy them. Now, I personally probably won't go back to the medium bushings ever. I will kind of just roll on the hard ones, because what I like is their hardness literally starts and ends in the exact same place. Meaning that if you tighten the mediums all the way down, as tight as they can go right before they're about to tear, that's where the hard just start. Like on the first thread, that's where the hard starts. So if you want to go just a little bit, you go just a little bit. But if you want to go tighter like me, you have all that range to go. So to be honest, I like them. I did notice when they loosened up one of the times, one of the bushings started to like kind of smush a little bit. But once I tightened it back down, it went back down into the bushing cup. So I'm kind of curious to see if that's something I have to deal with consistently. But obviously, Donald has been really awesome with feedback. And besides one complaint that he hasn't necessarily changed, but it's not the end of the world, it's honestly a minor complaint of mine, is I'm not a huge fan of how close the nut sits to the base plate when they're all the way in on the wheelbase. But at the end of the day, I'm the one skating these small wheelbase. And while I can't fit my skate tool in there perfectly, it can fit in there a little bit, and wrenches fit in there fine. So it's not the end of the world. I am so stoked to be working with Grand King, and it's awesome. I have to go. I have to go now. Have a great day and keep pushing. I got to get out of here. I thought I had to throw up. That's why I tried to run off, but I was able to burp it out. I know I'm sharing a lot in this video, but I do need to head inside because otherwise my wife's coming out with the rolling pin and gonna beat my head in because I told her I was feeling sick, and yet I'm out here skating. Have a great day and keep pushing forward, guys.